I have with me today the FlySky FS-GT3 2.4 GHz 3-channel radio system. It's made for radio control cars, and you can even use it for boats. I got it for about $70 at my local hobby shop, and but you can find it for about $60 on Deal Extreme or around $70–$80 on eBay. So it's actually very affordable. It's got a lot of features for the price. It's got, of course, the LCD screen. It's 2.4 GHz, like I mentioned. It's actually got 8 model memories. It's got adjustments for like endpoints, sub-trim, servo reversing, exponential, dual rate, ABS, steering delay, and throttle delay. So it's got pretty much everything you need, especially for a beginner. And for a beginner, it's actually got more than you need. But it's really great and totally worth it. So let's take a look at the screen here and how you program this device. Basically, you have this screen that shows you what you're going to program, of course, and you have this this dial button, which you scroll through items, as well as press to confirm, or you can use these buttons and these buttons too. I believe this is enter. It's the same as pressing this button. So let's turn it on. So there you have the LCD screen. It's pretty clear. Basically, to make changes, you press and hold this button, and then you're into the screen, which lets you modify the settings. So the first one is memory select. So it's got slots for about 8 cars. So and then it's also, you can rename them to make it easier to remember. But it's really difficult to name them because you have to scroll through so many characters. It's not as fast and as intuitive as the Spektrum radios, but you can rename the memory slots. And there's other things like reverse. Reverse is for servo reversing, sub-trim, dual rates, E-point, which is endpoint adjustment or travel adjustment. What else? You got arc. That's basically FlySky's term for exponential. What else do you have here? You have display. You can modify how the display looks. ABS. ST delay is like steering delay. Basically, when you turn this dial, how responsive you want it. When does it actually respond? And same thing with throttle. TH delay, which is throttle delay. And what else you got? Program key. So the transmitter has a whole bunch of these little buttons here around the dial, and also underneath near the trigger. And all these buttons are programmable, so you could have it do anything you want it to do. Like you may want these buttons to adjust trimming or anything you want. So it's kind of neat. It does have the ability to have programmable keys. So that's it for the menu and how you program the thing. Let's turn it off. Let's take a look at the rest of the transmitters. On the back, this is the actual 2.4 GHz transmitter module. As you can see, the antenna is pretty short and it's retractable. That's what I like about these 2.4 GHz systems today. You don't have those 10-foot long metal antennas to bend or break. And it's also the fact that you don't have to deal with crystals too. So once you bind your 2.4 GHz receiver to the transmitter, it only talks to that receiver, and you don't have to worry about it conflicting with other transmitters around. So it's really good. This button here, right there, that's the binding button to bind your receiver to the transmitter. And this one here, this is the aux button. This is the third channel. So the third channel is just on and off. It's not variable like the steering or the trigger. It's just on and off. So it's not very useful for anything else, I guess. I guess if you had a hovercraft and you wanted to turn on the main motor, you could program it to do that and then turn it off. Or you could, maybe you have some lights hardwired to your radio control car, you can use it to turn on the lights. So that's about it for the third channel. There's this port, I think it's called the DSC port. I really don't know what it does. And there's also a port to plug in an adapter to charge your batteries. Never really done that myself. What else is there? Oh yeah, this thing here swivels. So that's kind of cool. So like if you want to have an angle to it, you can. I'll just keep it like that. The battery compartment. Well, here's the battery compartment. Like most transmitters, it's on the bottom, and it takes 8 AA batteries. But as you can see, I don't have 8 AA batteries in here. I've already modified this one to use 3-cell 11.1 volt lithium-ion battery, because they last a lot longer, and when you store these away, it holds the charge a lot longer than NiCad. So this battery, for example, I've had this transmitter turned off and stored away for about 4 months, and when I powered it back on, it still had a lot of juice in it. So if you can, I would totally recommend you getting one of these batteries, and it's not that expensive. These batteries are about $10, and to really make it work with your transmitter, all it involves is soldering a lead onto the battery compartment and then plugging the battery into it, and that's about it. This battery I got at HobbyKing for I think around $8, and it's definitely a modification I would recommend that you do to the transmitter so the battery lasts longer. And not only that, I do this mod for pretty much all my transmitters. They don't use standard AA's anymore, they just use lithium-ion batteries. So back to the 2.4 gigahertz module here. This is actually removable. So if you click on, so you can take that off. And why would you want to remove this? Well, you can put other transmitter modules. You can buy an FM module, and really, I mean, other manufacturers can make modules for their receivers, right? And you just plug it in. So that's really neat how you can use FM module if you want, and that's why you have this little nubby thing here. That's actually where the antenna for the 10-foot antenna goes for the FM transmitter, if you ever decide to go and buy one of those. But it's nice that it is upgradable. So if there is a new transmitter module, you can buy one and plug it in, and it should work just fine. So there you have it. It's pretty cool. I've used this for about a year now, and it's still in great condition. It still works. The only thing I notice is the chroming around the buttons and the dials. They're starting to wear out a bit, but that's a minor thing. And also the buttons aren't really labeled, so you're kind of wondering what these buttons do. So that's it for the review of the FlySky FS-GT3. It's a very nice transmitter for the price. Definitely recommend that you get one, especially if you just have radio control cars for bashing around. I use this for my nitro buggies, my brushless buggies, and on-road cars, my F1 car. So it works great for every device you can possibly think of. So get one and tell your friends to get one. See you later.